Hello my fellow oddities and welcome to a new video. My tongue is blue, just like the Fantastic Four. I just watched Fantastic Four. I didn't have the time to do my little before I watched the movie section, so I'm just jumping straight into the review for the new Fantastic Four movie. It's been 10 years since the last one, which wasn't very good, like, at all. And then 10 years before that, we got another Fantastic Four movie, which was better than that last one, but it's still not great. And then I think even 10 years before that, there was another one. So yeah, it seems every 10 years there's a new Fantastic Four movie series starting. And this is by far the best one. Like, going into this, to be honest, I just wanted the movie to be good. All right? We've had too many either mediocre or just straight horrid Fantastic Four movies. I didn't have many expectations. My expectations were pretty low. I just let it be good, all right? It's got a good cast, all right? It looks cool. I like the costumes and stuff. The CGI is looking good, all right? It's got good actors attached to it. It's got good people behind the scenes attached to it. It's got Marvel behind it, the MCU. Please, just be good. And it was. It actually went past those expectations. I thought this movie was really, really good. Now, the beginning of it is sort of where I'm the most iffy, because at the beginning of the movie, I was kind of scared a little bit, like, ooh, I don't know if I'm going to like this movie that much, because the pace was kind of, I don't know, it was a little fast for my liking, and I feel like we didn't really get enough time to establish the characters and their personality and their relationship. It kind of just felt like we were jumping right in, and I get that they've already made movies about the Fantastic Four. Most people already know their backstory, the general audiences, because they've seen those other movies, but I was just a bit worried when we were just jumping right in that, like, ooh, like, I kind of want to get to know these versions of the characters a little bit more, but by the end of the movie, throughout the whole thing, it fixes that, all right? We get to know these characters very, very well, and I like each and every one of them. I'll go through the whole cast, starting with Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic. They don't actually, I don't think, besides for The Thing maybe, they don't call each other by their, like, superhero names. So that's a bit weird. I don't think they say Mr. Fantastic. I don't think they say Invisible Woman. I definitely don't think they say Human Torch. Maybe they say it in, like, one scene, and I just, like, kind of missed it. But they definitely don't, like, say it throughout the movie. The Thing is the only one that I think they say more throughout the movie, but they mostly just call each other by their names, which I guess makes sense for them, because this movie is very focused on them. There's not really a lot of outside characters. It's mostly just the Fantastic Four and Herbie and the villains of the movie, but, like, most of it is just the Fantastic Four, so I get why they wouldn't be like, I don't know, you're not going to call your brother Human Torch just casually. But back to the main point, Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic was really, really good. This is, I'm going to be saying this a lot, but by far the best portrayal of Mr. Fantastic in any of the Fantastic Four movies. He was really, really good. Just the perfect balance of, just Mr. Fantastic's kind of a complicated character, because he's super smart and his mind is always thinking about these crazy things, these dangerous things, and it's just constantly going, and you have to kind of find that balance of him still feeling human, but also being that, like, otherworldly smart character. And I think Pedro Pascal portrays that really well. He portrays how that type of mind would affect a human and their brain very, very well, and their interactions with other people. And I just thought he did the perfect job with this character, and I loved the Fantastic Four, the Mr. Fantastic from the 2005 Fantastic Four. I thought he was really good as well. But I just think in the modern age, with just how much more it delves into that character's psyche, like I said, this is the best version of Mr. Fantastic so far. Then we have Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, and she was also really, really good in this movie. She's sort of the mind isn't the correct term, because obviously that's Mr. Fantastic in terms of just, like, pure smartness, but in terms of, like, knowing how to bring the family together and knowing, like, the greater good and what the right thing is. I think this movie did a really good job at portraying Sue Storm in that way, as sort of the connective tissue that grounds and brings the Fantastic Four to Earth, the family to Earth, and makes it a true family. And she had a really, really good performance. I think Vanessa Kirby is her name. She had a really, really good performance. Very human, very, I don't know, just motherly, I guess, and just felt very, very authentic. I think she is pregnant in real life, so I don't know if she was pregnant while the movie was being made, but certainly that might have been something going through her mind while playing the character. So yeah, I think she did a fantastic job, no pun intended. I'm going to say fantastic a lot without realizing that it's a pun. No pun intended for just the whole video. All right. Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. I saw getting a lot of hate when he was announced as the Human Torch, and just throughout this entire movie's lead up, he did a really, really good job. I don't really know why people were hating on him. It didn't really make sense to me. I don't know. I know he was in Stranger Things. Maybe people didn't like him there, and it was crossing over here. But I thought he did a really, really good job. The blue contacts were kind of distracting. I don't think his eyes are actually blue. It's just weird. I don't know why Marvel does this. Like, Marvel's only movie studio I've seen where they did the same thing with Haley Steinfeld in Hawkeye, where they just put these blue contacts in actors' eyes who don't have blue eyes, and it's very distracting. I don't know if it's just because the contacts don't look that good, or if it's because I know these actors and I know they don't have blue eyes. But even then, I'm not that familiar with Joseph Quinn. I didn't watch Stranger Things, so even I, as a person that hasn't seen his face a lot, was just distracted by the blue eyes. And I know that's something that's probably stupid to complain about, but honestly, there's not much else to complain about with his character. I thought he was really good. The way I can describe him is that he's good at being douchey without coming off of too much as a douche. I know that's kind of contradictory, but you get what I mean, right? Like, he's not unlikable. He's not douchey in the unlikable way. He's douchey in a likable way, in a more charming way. And I also really like that they made him smart. All right, people think that Johnny Storm is just the dumb one of the group because that's how he was portrayed in the other movies. He's just a doofus, but that's not true. He's smart. He's not as smart as Reed Richards or Sue Storm or Ben Grimm, but he's not dumb, all right? He's still smart. He might be the least smart out of all of them, but he is still smart. So they have him do some actual things to help the group, not just in a flame on, throw fireballs at things kind of way, but actually in a, I'm going to figure out, can't really get into spoilers too much, but I'm going to figure out what this means and how we can connect it to our overall goal in stopping Galactus and him eating our planet. And then the thing for me was the weakest of the four, and that's not down to the performance or the portrayal at all. It's just we don't really get enough of him. He's supposed to be the heart of the group, but we don't really get too much of his personal story. I think this is something that the 2005 movie did a lot better of, just portraying the Thing and his tragedy mostly. They don't really go into that in this movie of just how being this deformed, I don't want to say deformed, but that's the only way I can really describe it, but being the most visually changed of the Fantastic Four and not necessarily being the most pretty attractive thing to look at, thing to look at, haha. They didn't really go into that much. There was little hints of it, but they didn't really explore it the way I was kind of expecting them to, like the older movies did. And even the 2015 movie was I am this thing and I hate it. But this movie doesn't really go into that. It's pretty clear that this version of the Thing has already moved past that sort of part of his life. And they have this weird kind of, I don't know if it's supposed to be a romantic interest thing that they just kind of introduce but don't actually explain or go into at all in the movie. It's just kind of this random thing that is there, I guess, and I don't really get how it contributes to the plot because they don't actually delve into what his mindset is or why this romantic interest is a problem for him or what his reservations are. And so that's just a problem I had with the movie. But in terms of the actual portrayal of the Thing, really, really good. The CGI looks great. I really like his design. It's pulled straight from the comics. And so I love everything about the Thing and his visuals and his personality and stuff, but we just didn't get enough of him. The Silver Surfer was amazing. I really, really liked the Silver Surfer in this movie. There's been some controversy because they chose the female version of the Silver Surfer, Shala Ball, in order to portray and adapt in this movie. I don't really care that much because I thought she was really, really good. There's not really much else to say than that. Like, without getting into spoilers, just her character is really cool. The thing she does is really cool. She actually surfs, and I don't think that's a spoiler because unless you've seen the movie, then you're not really going to know what I'm talking about. But, you know, in all the other movies, the only movie that Silver Surfer has been in, and just in most media in general, he just floats around on his surfboard. But in this movie, she actually, like, surfs. I won't tell you on what or in what context, but she does actually surf things. And then the main villain, Galactus, visually stunning. I knew from the trailers and stuff that it would kind of trigger my megalophobia a little bit. Not an actual phobia, but just like, I get uneasy when seeing things that are super big in comparison to things that are super tiny. And they do that a lot with Galactus in this movie. It gives me the jitters, but his portrayal, his design is really, really good. Just seeing him in the city and stuff, and his voice and everything about Galactus was amazing, as probably good as you can get for Galactus, just on the complete opposite end of the spectrum from the giant cloud from the other Fantastic Four movie. So yeah, I'm a bit shocked that they went with Galactus for the first movie. That's like, people were talking about Galactus as potentially like a Thanos type overarching villain, and so I find it interesting that they've just like introduced him in the first movie of the Fantastic Four. Like, I don't know, I thought they would go with someone more small scale, but they decided to go with Galactus, maybe to just right the wrong that the previous Fantastic Four movie with Galactus, just that horrid interpretation of him. So I guess they've done that now, and so I'm sure we'll see him back again someday. The movie leaves off in a way where he's not dead or anything, so he can definitely come back and do something cool. So yeah, I hope that does happen because Galactus is such a cool villain. And yeah, it's just his portrayal along with the Silver Surfer and that dynamic and the reason he wants to consume things and be here on Earth specifically is all really, really fantastic and very true to the comics. I love the score for the movie. The music I thought was really, really good. I almost said fantastic there. Really, really good score. I've been kind of humming it in my head ever since we got back from the theater. And the aesthetic of the movie, the 60s, I think it's 60s or 50s aesthetic of the movie was really, really cool with the astronaut stuff and the costume design, the look of the people and the buildings. It's like what the future would look like portrayed by someone in like the 60s or 50s, like what they think the future would look like. And I thought that was really cool. And just the cameras and stuff and the effects they do on that to make it trying to make it seem older, and you know, people's voices and stuff, all of it was really, really cool to see. If I had to have one more nitpick for this movie, it would be that Mr. Fantastic, his powers, they don't really get creative with him at all. That's like my biggest criticism, and something I think a lot of people were talking about going into the movie, because they weren't showing his powers a lot in the trailers and stuff. I think the first trailer, he straight up didn't use his powers at all. And what was kind of disappointing is that he does use his powers, all right, and it looks good when he does use them, but it feels like they were too afraid maybe of the CGI looking bad, so they didn't really get creative with it the way the older movies did, where he would be stretching around people, and the one scene where he was like stretching around the thing, and then in the second movie where he was stretching on the Ferris wheel. They don't really do anything like that. Like, he just stretches straight up and down. He doesn't go around things. He doesn't form any cool shapes or anything like how he does in Lego Marvel Superheroes, where he turns into like a ball or something. He doesn't really do that in this, and I think that's a missed opportunity. I know, like, seeing Pedro Pascal's face like expand and change into weird things would probably look very, very strange. but I don't care. I wanted to see it. But yeah, overall, I don't really have much to say about this movie. It's just really, really good. By far the best Fantastic Four movie. The space aesthetic and the space themes, how much of the movie is set in space and the cosmic stuff. I really, really loved it. I really, really loved it. And I hate to bring up Superman because it's just, you know, I don't really, it's not really necessary. I can like this movie without mentioning how I feel about Superman. But just, this is an example of a movie where the cosmic weirdness stuff makes sense. But in Superman, it didn't make sense. I didn't like that stuff in that movie. I wanted that to be grounded. In this movie, it's different. So for each hero, you need to give them the correct theme of their universe, or not their universe, but their personal sphere. Like them, the DCU having a Green Lantern movie set on Earth that's super grounded. That's stupid. All right? That's dumb. Having a detective Green Lantern movie, that could be cool if it was set in space, but it's not set in space. It's set on Earth. I didn't like that, or I don't like that. I don't like that they're going to do that for the Green Lantern show, especially since the Green Lantern is my favorite character, and I'm really pissed off about that. But, you know, this is the best superhero movie of the year. Fantastic Four is the best superhero movie of the year. And also, it's a solo Fantastic Four movie. You straight up don't have to watch the other Marvel movies at all. Like, even the post-credit scene, like, you don't have to have knowledge of other Marvel movies in order to watch that post-credit scene. You, like, if you just, let's say you take this entire movie and you subtract the MCU never existed, and you just, this was the first Marvel movie, first Fantastic Four movie. There was nothing before this. There's nothing planned to come after it. Even the post-credit scene, like, works. Like, it works. Obviously with context of what we know is going to happen in the future. Like, the context is added. But, like, if you were just a Fantastic Four fan watching the movie and you watch that post-credit scene, you'd just be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. That's something that happened in the comics. So that's just something I really liked. It was just a self-contained story. That's what I didn't like about Superman. It was trying to set too many other things up and giving too much attention to characters I don't care about, like Mr. Terrific. And so that's what I appreciate so much about this movie. This movie is a part of the MCU, which is on like 30 movies by this point, and even it gets that some of these movies just need to be self-contained stories that don't involve other superheroes. And Superman, which is the first movie of the DCU, didn't understand that. So, you know, it's just the reason why Marvel has always been doing better than DC when it comes to the movies. And Marvel seems to be having a resurgence a little bit. I haven't watched any of the TV shows. Did Captain America come out this year? I think it did. That wasn't that great. But with Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, they are 2 for 2 with their last two in terms of just making really, really great superhero movies that don't feel cluttered, that don't feel bogged down by the weight of the universe. And so they're picking it back up. They've clearly had some sort of shift in direction, and I'm really excited for the next movie. I think the next movie is either the Spider-Man movie, which obviously I'm going to be excited for, or the next Avengers movie, which I'm a little bit like hesitant about that because it doesn't feel like we've had too much setup for there to be an entire Avengers movie. But after those last two, and knowing that the characters from these last two movies are going to be in that, I'm all the more excited than I was a few months back when I hadn't seen these movies and I was starting to not care about the MCU anymore. So fantastic job, Fantastic Four, at rejuvenating my interest in the MCU. I won't say my love for the MCU quite yet, but my interest in the MCU. But that'll do it for this video, my fellow oddities. Make sure to check out the links in the description to my Twitch, my merch store, and my other social media. Give this video a like to show your support, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to know when I next upload a new video. That'll do it for this video, my fellow oddities. I'll see you next time.